With me now is Anthony Albanese and Christopher Pine, who is in Adelaide this morning. Christopher, to you first of all, is your signature energy policy going to guarantee 24/7 power at internationally competitive prices or not? Because it doesn't look like it.
Well, Carl, I have to say that energy prices are actually starting to come down. The pressure on the rises in power prices has eased. Today there'll be an announcement about prices actually being reduced in some states. In other states they're flatlining because of the National Energy Guarantee releasing more gas into the market, the Snowy Hydro scheme coming on, putting a great deal more pressure on electricity companies. The prices are actually stabilising or reducing. So, sure, we want it to do better, and there needs to be more pressure on energy companies, but it's not true that we've done nothing. We've done a lot, and actually things are changing, whereas under Labor, they went up 100% in the time that they were there.
OK, so front page of the Daily Telegraph today has the sort of story that will rock Australians, I reckon. We produce huge amounts of natural gas, that's a given. Get this, AGL firstly decides to sell our gas overseas. Now it's going to import it and sell it back to us at a time when prices are internationally rising. Have you ever heard of anything more ridiculous?
Well, I haven't seen that story, Carl, but I can tell you that what Malcolm Turnbull did last year, sitting down with Josh Frydenberg and the gas companies, was require them to put more gas into the market, to put controls from the government over the export of gas. And that's had a big difference in the gas market,
so
particularly the wholesale gas market.
You've got some dramas there. OK, Albo, renewables aren't able to do it, according to Australia's biggest aluminium producer this morning. Will your policy lead to lower prices or not?
Well, the fact is that what we need is certainty in the market. When Christopher said they've been doing a lot, they have. They've had one policy, then another policy, then another one, then another one. And what's happened is we haven't had the investment. And that's as a result of the government, a lot of the time, just campaigning within themselves. They haven't been able to agree. They asked for a chief scientist report, then they rejected it. There's no certainty
in prices because there's no certainty with renewables.
Well, renewables are part of the future. We know that that's the case, and the government's had to acknowledge that. They've had a war on renewables, and what that led to was uncertainty, a lack of investment, and higher prices as well as higher emissions.
OK, confidence in the market, Christopher, is at an all-time confidence in the market is at an all-time low. Customers are saying this morning that prices offered are worse value for money than banking or mobile phones. You did say you were going to fix it.
We are fixing it, and I can tell you the Snowy Hydro scheme, number 2, that we are investing in, is the largest investment in renewables in the Southern Hemisphere, because we have an agnostic view. We're not particularly pro-one or particularly pro another kind of energy production. Anymore? We're trying to do. We're happy to have coal as well, as long as they're providing base load power, which they are. Renewables, coal,
fiddled around for 5 years,
gas,
Christopher.
And we've done a great job. We have had a great job at stabilising the market after it went up 100%.
You haven't even stabilised yourself.
Labor.
All right. You have to continue trying to work harder at that, because this is one of the biggest issues facing the Australian electorate.
We do have to keep doing that.
And a lot of people do this cold winter will start to really struggle with their power bills, and they'll start to lay the blame game as well. Let's move on. An historic week. I just wonder, Chris, when will Julie be heading to Pyongyang with her hard hat on to start sorting out Kim Jong-un? He needs to be sorted out, and we need to start denuking, don't we? When's she going to do that?
Well, what's been good this week is that there's been a proper dialogue between the United States and North Korea, and North Korea is committed to denuclearisation. We obviously want to see, and Julie Bishop, I think quite rightly has said, we want to see real concrete moves to denuclearisation, not simply statements of intent. But I think we've made real progress this week because of Donald Trump and Kim Jong-un's meeting. But we want to see, the truth of the outcome, not just the announcement. I think that's what Julie Bishop's been saying, and she's right to say it.
Albo, do you trust Donald Trump?
I think it is a good thing that both Donald Trump and Kim Jong-un are sitting down and coming up with constructive ways forward rather than tweeting and arguing with each other. And I think Julie Bishop's playing a really good role as well in pointing out that what we need is those concrete steps, not just statements.
Yeah, very good. Moving on, Christopher, you went on a trip to Paris, to Gay Paris over the last week, selling Australian weapons. Some wonderful photos of you on the interweb. Just have a look here.
The intertube, yeah.
There he is, young man just doing his thing overseas, selling our hardwares, our military hardwares. Honestly, eat your heart out, Demtel man. Did you manage to sell the steak knives as well?
Well, we have a huge emphasis on our defence exports at the moment from this government, Carl.
I love it.
In a way that we've never had before. And we're making real progress into Europe, the Middle East, the United States. That's creating jobs, higher wages, investment and growth in our economy. And that's what it's all about. We've got some great things to talk to them about.
How was the escargot, Tiger?
I didn't have any escargot. I'm not quite sure why what's going on over there. I can't see your screen, but nevertheless...
That's a good thing, Christopher.
No,
I'm
it's
sure
all,
it is.
it's all very
Photos
positive.
of
Would
you.
you buy a rocket
My
launcher off?
photos are always great.
Would you buy a rocket launcher off Christopher?
I'd check my pockets. You know.
Oh, that's
You know,
uncharitable.
he's over there, living it up.
Oh,
but
come
good
on.
on him.
Living the dream. Left Saturday night, got back Wednesday afternoon.
Yeah, here.
42 hours in planes for a day and a half or something.
Yeah, just feeling the joie de vivre this morning, and you deserve
I went to Homebush last night to see
It's nice to have you in the country for a
Smash
change.
Parramatta.
Isn't it
It's
called
nice to have
Homebush,
you in
eh?
the country for a change. Why aren't you in Bradford,
Notice I didn't
Longman or Perth?
advertise the bank.
Why aren't you campaigning all around Australia like you usually
Mate,
do?
I was watching my Rabbitohs.
Went to Paris.
You're usually
I went
in
to
Bradford,
Homebush. I
in
love these
Longman, anywhere else other than your own electorate.
Nowhere better than Homebush when the bunnies
you
are
should
winning.
take Christopher out there for a look.
You should come to the rugby league,
Yeah, yeah.
Christopher.
I'm big out in Homebush.
With a
I
rocket
have to tell
launcher.
you. You'd be surprised. You would be surprised.
You'd go well in the borough, mate. They'd sort you out.
Stop it. I love it, Georgie.
Did I just hear Christopher Pine say I'm big out in Homebush?
He's huge.
It's true,
He's
Georgie. You
huge.
could ask people.
That's fantastic. Fantastic.